apparatus like we said. So now we're going to look at the wrist flexors. Okay, we've got flexor carpi radialis, flexor carpi ulnaris, and palmaris longus. Those are the three ones that are the primary flexors of the wrist. So we put the individual into an extension at the elbow. We go ahead and have her flex her wrist like this. So she just brings it up like this. Okay, and we can see actually in most of you these tendons right here. So we've got one on the thumb side right here. Don't go too far over here or you're in thumb muscles. So this is actually closer to the midline of the wrist than you would think. Okay? There we go. So we got flexor carpi radialis. We come over here on the little finger side, just above the crease of the wrist, and we feel another tendon. That's flexor carpi ulnaris. And then we come into the middle, and to activate palmaris longus very powerfully, we have them just do an opposition like this, and it pops up right there, very powerfully. So flexor carpi radialis, palmaris longus, and flexor carpi ulnaris. Okay? So those are the primary flexors of the wrist. Finger flexors assist, but we'll do those in a second. We turn her over onto the extensor side for wrist extensors. We've got extensor carpi radialis longus, extensor carpi radialis brevis, and extensor carpi ulnaris. Those are the primary extensors of the wrist. So we're going to find extensor carpi radialis longus and brevis on the thumb side of the extensor surface. But we don't want to be confused by the thumb tendons, which, if Mallory brings her thumb out like this, superficial to those wrist extensors. So we want to minimize their contribution. We do that by tucking the thumb, making a loose fist around it, just very loose, and then we have Mallory come up into an extension. And if we add a little bit of radial deviation to it, we see a nice little group right there. Just two tendons that are closely bound together, sometimes so closely it's hard to distinguish them, but they will separate at the end because extensor carpi radialis longus attaches at the base of the second metacarpal and brevis at the base of the third. So those are those two tendons which you can feel both of them. There's brevis and there's longus right there. Okay? Those tendons, when you feel them, are running this way. If you feel something running this way, you've got thumb tendons. The tendons run this way. If you feel something running this way, you've got thumb tendons. That's why you want to rub across them a little. Okay? So that's extensor carpi radialis longus and brevis. We good with that? Yeah. Extensor carpi ulnaris. We don't care about what happens at the thumb, so she can unloosen that thumb tuck. Comes up into an extension with a little bit of ulnar deviation. We go to the bumpy bone, right here, the distal ulna. We just come around like this and feel a nice tendon right there. It's not up here, that's something else. So we just feel it right there. Okay, that's extensor carpi ulnaris. It goes around this way.
Can you feel that as you do an ulnar?
You can if you do an ulnar deviation, absolutely. That makes it more powerful. It just pops up even more. Okay? So those are the primary extensors of the wrist.